Betting is legal, sports betting now legal in Massachusetts. First day, people can place bets. So we have to go check in with our guy, Tommy Giles, who is out at the WinBet Sportsbook at Encore Boston Harbor, where I know you might be heading to later. And Tommy Giles, I sent you a whole bunch of Forsberg 4 hypothetical bets for this program, and I wanted you to come up with some odds to be our bookmaker. So what do you got for me?
All right, well, yeah, absolutely. These are hypothetical odds, and Forsberg, I'm going to start with the first one. I got some questions, too. You're trying to figure out what are the odds that the Celtics make a big splash at the trade deadline, and this is the toughest one already off the bat because totally subjective. Now, if we're talking if the Celtics trade for a starter, I'd probably put that out by plus 750. If we're talking the Celtics trade away a couple first-round picks for a guy like potentially Jakob Poeltl, I'd probably put that more like plus 200. But in an effort to kind of middle those and protect myself, I'm going to put plus 300 for big splash at the trade deadline. Of course, the subjectivity matters most.
Are you taking that bet? Do you think there's going to be a big splash?
Because I don't think Poeltl's a big splash. I think it's a trade. You know, it's something that helps you, gives you big depth. But a big splash, no, I wouldn't take that bet.
So here's the thing for me is it's very rare that you get to this point of the season and you feel like you have an honest-to-goodness chance to win a title. And I think it would be very easy for the Celtics to just say, no, we're just going to go add a guy at the buyout market, maybe make a small move, and that might still happen. But for me, I think we hear Wick Grossbeck say the other night, muscle up. To me, that sounds like they want to make something a little bit bigger of a splash. And so I'm taking the bet that there will be a little bit bigger of a splash than you think. I don't know, like Giles said, I don't know if it'll necessarily be a starter, but it'll be someone that can be impactful in their playoffs, and I think it's going to surprise some people if the right deal materializes.
So do we have a side bet, 10 push-ups? I say that it's not good. You in. Okay, I don't think it's going to be a huge player, anything, but I think it will give us depth. And so, again, it's subjective, but so do we have a bet on that?
We've got a bet. See, this is what we do
10
now.
push-ups.
All bets all the time here on Celtics Post Up. Giles, what do I got at number 2?
By the way, I've already invested a lot of push-ups here today, just so you know. Meanwhile, let's go to number 2. It's going to be Jayson Tatum in terms of how many minutes he's going to play the rest of the way. Will he finish top 5 in minutes played? And he is 4th right now. I'm going to say yes is minus 400. I'm thinking it's very likely that Jayson Tatum finishes in top 5 minutes played. I think they will rest him, but I also think that the other guys on that list are going to see some rest as well as you get down the stretch run here. So we're going to go minus 400.
Yeah, and like to me, this is probably the easiest bet I had out there because Jayson Tatum is a gamer. He plays a ton of minutes no matter what. He wants to be out there, and he's actually kind of told Joe Mazzulla he wants to be out there. I do think they'll find pockets of rest, but he's still going to end up, Eddie, at like 77, 78 games played, maybe, in that ballpark. And I think it's just going to be enough to keep him in that top 5. I hope, based on what happened at the end of the playoffs last year, that we tread a little bit cautiously with Jayson down the stretch. But can you even convince Jayson Tatum to peel back a little bit when he's in the MVP conversation?
No, and I'm taking this bet. I believe that for us to be successful, he has to be out on the court. And unless we get we go on a crazy run to where there is a big gap leading in. The seating is set. We know where we're at. There's nothing that can happen where he's able to probably take off 4, 5, 6, 7 games, which I don't think that's possible.
Celtics never make it that easy.
Yeah, I don't think it's – I know, right? They never make it that easy. I don't think it's that's possible. So I'm taking that bet. He's going to finish in the top 5 in minutes.
Giles, what do I got at number 3?
Number 3, we're going to go Jaylen Brown. And the question is, will Jaylen Brown make an all-NBA team? All right, so not necessarily first team. Could be second team, could be third team, whatever. Jaylen Brown to make an all-NBA team. This one, I'm kind of setting at somewhere near 50-50, but I'll give you plus 120 for Jaylen Brown to make an all-NBA team. How do you feel about that?
I like these odds, but the Celtics have a lot more than plus 120 invested in this because if Jaylen Brown does make an all-NBA team, he will become Supermax eligible. And this summer, they could potentially re-sign him to a crazy long deal. You would have your entire core in-house for the foreseeable future. I think he's played to a level that he deserves to be in the All-NBA conversation. There's a ton of talent around the league, Eddie, and when you start doing the whole position thing, it gets murky. I think right now, he's knocking on that door. Has he done enough to earn an All-NBA spot?
I think at this point he has. And if you make the All-Star team, which I think he will make the All-Star team, now you're talking about potentially the next step is making the All-NBA team. He's done a lot. As long as they continue to win, he continued to play at the level he's been playing, I think he's somewhere on that third team.
All right. Well, it's time now for Bringing the Heat, brought to you by Eastern Propane and Oil. They're in your neighborhood. Joe Mazzulla will officially coach Team Giannis in the AllStar Game. It's only the third time in the last 24 seasons that an All-Star team will be guided by a first-year NBA coach. Our Abby Chan asked Mazzulla and his point guard Marcus Smart about that honor.
Congratulations,
Yep.
being All-Star coach. What does that mean to you?
Nothing.
Joe headed to his first year, headed to the All-Star Game. He said it doesn't matter to him, but
Bull- He's definitely pumped about it. I mean, first time, being the head coach and you go to coach the All-Star Game, I don't see how you not be excited. But that's just Joe. He does a good job of really hiding his enthusiasm for certain things. And then other times he lets you know. No, like I said, we're just extremely proud of Joe and everything, and how him and this, the rest of this team and coaching staff has responded to everything we've been through this season, and we tip our hats off to those guys.
So you like that? You like his little line about that Joe's not showing?
Oh yeah, he was come on, man. You get to the All-Star Game, you feeling good. I don't care, player, whatever, coaching, however you got there. If you was the assistant coach, if you was the water boy, you understand me? You happy you at that All-Star Game, believe it.
Well, I needed some odds for something involving Joe Mazzulla at the All-Star Game. So, Giles, what do I got at number 4?
So number 4, Chris, and again, you brought this one up on me, and you got Joe Mazzulla to call a timeout during the All-Star Game. That's it, just call a timeout at any point during the All-Star Game. That's what you're going with? I'm going to have to go minus 150 on Joe Mazzulla calling a timeout, because you know what? He's a competitive guy, and I think if this game's close late, fourth quarter, he's calling a timeout and he's trying to win that game. So I'm probably going to have to price around minus 150, Joe Mazzulla calling that timeout.
Eddie, there is no chance Joe Mazzulla is calling a timeout. I know you said that he doesn't care about this honor. I actually believe him when he says that he just wants to get it over with. It's going to be super awkward. You remember back in 2017, I think, Brad Stevens had to get introduced and came out and was like, on the big stage waving. Joe hates those sort of moments. I am going to be fascinated. I think he's going to want running clock and get to the end of this thing.
I'm going to have to disagree with you. At first I was thinking about it. I'm like, he's not going to call time because he barely calls timeouts now. But you get a little check. You get a bonus if you win that All-Star Game, right? And so that's when everything comes into play. That money changes everything. He will call a timeout if it starts getting close, because players are going to be competing. Not only him, not only is he and his staff going to get extra bread for that, they're going to get a little bit of money, but the players too. The players are playing for that money, man. It's very competitive. So I believe he's going to call a timeout, man. I'm with that.
Cash rules everything around us. So, Tommy Giles, thank you. Go hang out and maybe see what other action's going on over there for us.